Now, family, here we have it, a FBA brother. He's somewhere in Georgia, though. But I did a previous video about this brother here. His name is Julian Brown. And this brother is a great brother. You know, he's phenomenal. He's a brilliant mind. He invents, he's an inventor, a black inventor at the end of the day. And what he does is he takes trash and garbage and he got a machine he built with his own hands and turns that into fuel. Now, I said in my previous video, when this brother first came on my radar, we got to watch and look out for this brother, because when black people come up with inventions, or come up with things on their own, with their own wherewithal and ingenuity and continuity, people from the dominant white society, white supremacists, they work to sabotage that, or, unfortunately, delete the person, and make it look like brothers and sisters died up under mysterious circumstance. You walking down the street one day and you magically struck and hit and killed by a car. And here we have it. Lo and behold, this brother, ever since he did that, he said he took his car to the auto mechanic, and now, for some kind of issue, and he's driving down the highway after he took his car to the mechanic, and his lug nut, his wheels almost came off going 70 miles an hour. They loosened up his lug nuts. And he said this ain't no coincidence either. He believes there's something more to this, and I ain't buying that it's no coincidence either, because 9 times out of 10, unfortunately, like I said, when black folks come up with things, that challenge the status quo from our own knowledge and wherewithal, white supremacists, they work to, sabotage it, or, just get rid of black folks under the most mysterious of circumstances. And, evidence of this was when that brother, I forget where he was at, he had a water machine where he makes water out of air or something like that. And somebody went through and destroyed this brother's whole machine a few years back. Went in there and destroyed the brother's whole machine. And the brother said, as skillful, he knows the skill that it took to make this machine, to disassemble it the way they did. It had to be somebody with some kind of know-how. This is what I'm saying. These white supremacists, they sabotage black people left and right. They don't want us to get, a leg up, and us to create something where it can create generational wealth, it'll push society forward, so they work, in the background, to do little slick underhanded things, such in the case we got with this brother. Somebody removed his bolts. He driving down the highway 70 miles an hour. Luckily this brother didn't die, and we got to keep our eyes on this young brother too, Julian Brown, to ensure that he's safe. We got to get eyes and ears on this story. This is why I want to put the story out on my channel, because this brother is a brilliant mind, and, he needs brothers and sisters around him, that can, hold him down in all actuality. He need a team around him, because I knew when he put it out, because on the other hand, you got to put your invention out there, to get it noticed from the world, so people can actually, use it. Because what good is having all this inventor's knowledge, and you creating all this stuff, and you're not using it, you're not applying it in real world time. But on the other hand, when black people come to the forefront, you got something that challenges the status quo, 9 times out of 10, they unalive you or find some magical way to get rid of you and make it look like an accident. So I got the audio and the video of this, family, and we're going to talk about it how we normally do. Fair use. Brother's name is Julian Brown, Georgia.
2 days ago, all 10 of my lug nuts on my front wheels were loosened completely. And one of my wheels almost flew off going 70 miles per hour on the interstate. And of course,
that brother could have died, and the mechanic most likely done this, you know what I mean? Or whoever he took it to, they had somebody slip through there, if it wasn't them, somebody slipped through there and knew his car, they was tracking him, monitoring his movements and knew he was going there to take his car there at this particular time. This is why you got to watch, when you playing, he's moving up into playing on the big leagues now. You could create fuel out of garbage, trash, and create fuel out of that. That's cutting into the fuel people's pockets. That's cutting into big corporations' pockets at the end of the day, family. And, sadly, the white supremacist society, they're not going to let this go down, especially not no black person gaining this kind of power, because they know where that'll put you. You know what I mean? Unfortunately.
I had my car in the shop to get the wheel bearings replaced. So the first thing I did was call the mechanic, of course, and be like, what is this? Why are my lug nuts not tightened? And, on the phone, he sounded really, really, distressed. Like, he was like, it sounded almost like somebody was like holding a gun to his head the way he sounded on the phone. Like, he sounded scared.
See, that's why I said somebody might have slipped in there, had to drop on this brother, and knew this brother's coming and going. Know he's an inventor, a brilliant mind. Was sent out here on behalf of the white power structure to do their bidding for him. And get the brother up out the paint. He said that the mechanic sounded like he was being coerced into, talking and things like that. I just never put nothing past the hand of white supremacy. I know it ain't no form of low that these people ain't willing to stoop to.
And like, he wanted to get off the phone with me as soon as possible. And he told me on the phone, he was like, well, your bushings on your car are bad, and the vibrations from the bushings cause the lug nuts to loosen. I tightened them. And you don't even have to work on cars.
I ain't buying that. You know what I mean? That don't even make no sense, but let's continue.
To know that that's absolute BS, right? The bushings, if your lug nuts are, tightened completely, that is not going to affect that at all, your bushings, because my control arms and sway bars and stuff do need to be replaced, but that had nothing to do with the lug nuts coming off. So I don't know, like, I still to this day don't know if it was him or somebody else, but what I do know is my lug nuts were loosened, and
for sure, this ain't no coincidence. Things like this just don't happen. He being sabotaged in all actuality. So good that brother knows that in Peep's game, because to be aware is to be alive. And this is why I'm bringing this to the forefront, because we got your back, as an FBA society. We getting ears and eyes, put on this story. So, in all actuality, we ain't going to let nothing happen to this brother, at the end of the day. But let's continue.
I was one lug nut away. By the time I pulled over, all but one lug nut was on. And most mechanics, they might miss one, might miss two, but nobody misses all five by accident. So I don't know what the heck is going on, but, there's certain precautions I'll take from now on when I'm driving, checking my car and stuff, because, that was just too close.
Take precautions, my brother, and get a team around you, that can really hold you down. Just don't be always moving and operating, alone. If I could give you any words of advice, or if you're listening to this, brother Julian Brown, because they peep game, they know you're coming and going, and know you always leaving by yourself. That sets you up to be like a sitting target, a sitting goose, so to speak, sitting duck, so to speak.
Way too close, and then the other side was about to come off any time too. So, I thank God, I thank everybody for your support, and I'm just gonna move more cautiously, because that's crazy. And, that story of some bushing stuff is crazy, too.
It's crazy. I ain't buying it. And be aware, my brother, because to be aware is to be alive. And you said it yourself. You just got to move a little bit more differently. Put a team of people around you to where though they can hold you down, because like they say, having a bunch of odds is better than one set of odds. You know what I mean? So this is why I brought the story to the forefront and wanted to put some light on it, because we at the FBA Collective, we ain't gonna let nothing happen to you. We getting eyes and ears on your story.